Bonjour! This morning we're going to be looking at the first of our 8 super important verbs to learn, and that verb is avoir, to have. Hope you find this video useful. Okay, so here we have the verb avoir, to have. And we should really learn our verbs so that we are able to use them with every person when we're talking about every person. So here is the verb avoir. First of all, it starts off with j'ai. I have, j'ai. In French, we've only got one present tense. In English, we've got two. In French, we can say I have and I'm having. I have something that's generally true, and I am having something that's happening right now. In French, j'ai does the job of both of those two. So j'ai, I have. Tu as, you have. Tu, remember, is singular and familiar, so you're not being formal with this person, and it is, tu as, you have, or you are having. Il, elle, so il is he, elle is she, has, and on is really commonly used nowadays for we. So on a, we have, il a, elle a, he has, she has, or are having. Nous avons, we have, we are having, and nous we see more and more in writing. It's not wrong to say it in speech at all, it's completely right, but we're hearing more and more French spoken where they use on rather than nous. Vous avez, you have, and this time it's for if you're being formal to somebody you don't know, singular, or plural. Remember, plural doesn't have to be formal. As soon as it's plural, you use vous, okay? Even if it's your two best friends or your two dogs. Ils ou elles ont. You make a liaison here between the elles ont, but it sounds like a Z sound, okay? Elles ont, ils ont. Means they have, they are having, okay? So there are always patterns to help you remember these verbs, and it's worth just looking and trying to find a pattern to help you, because otherwise it just feels like 6 random pieces of information that are just really tricky to learn. So if you look at the verb, the infinitive, this is when the verb has had nothing changed to it. It's the one that you would find if you looked it up in the dictionary. Nobody's doing it yet, it's just this is the action. We're changing it to make people do it. So when we look at this infinitive, we can see that it starts with an A and it's got an O in there. And that, if we look down here, they're only starting with A's and here's an O, okay? So the words that are, when they're conjugated, have got the starting letters in the main verb, okay? So that can help us if we're trying to say something and we're thinking, oh, is it this or is it that? We can go, well, it can't be that because it's not got that letter in the verb. So we've got, the other thing to always remember is often with verbs, not all the time, but often with verbs, the nous and the vous form, the we and the you plural you formal form, come back to the main verb. So we can see here that nous has gone av and vous has gone av, the first noise basically, the first sound in that verb. And then we get the ONS on the end for nous and the EZ on the end for vous. And that you'll find when we look at some other verbs, that is very often the case, that the nous and the vous form go back up to the kind of original verb and then get an ONS or an EZ on the end. We can remember that nous ends in ONS because it's almost got those exact letters in it. Nous, N-O-U-S, and ONS on the end. And then we've got our EZ on the end for vous, and we see that on all of our instructions when people are telling us what to do. We see the EZ on the end. So that's the verb avoir. Definitely worth trying to learn. Why? Because you use it for lots of different reasons. So you use it when you want to say what object you have or what thing you might have. So j'ai un chien, j'ai un chat, on a une maison à Limoges. We use it to ask a question. Do you have? Tu as des enfants? Vous avez un problème? Okay, so all of these avoir parts here can be used to mean just I have, do you have, and then an object, a thing, a noun. Another time that avoir is useful is for these expressions. We did a video on those a little while ago, where in English you'd use I am, but in French you use I have. So for example, I'm hot, I'm cold. In French you say I have hot, j'ai froid. J'ai chaud, on a froid, we have cold, okay? We're hungry, on a faim, vous avez faim, for example. So avoir is useful for these types of expressions too. Another thing that avoir is useful for is to talk about your age, because in French you have years. So in French you would say I have however many years, j'ai 35 ans. Or vous avez quel âge? How many years do you have? How many age do you have? How much age do you have? So avoir with age too. And another one that avoir is useful for is for saying what you need, because you have need of something in French. So if you want to say I need, you have to say I have need of. So you would say j'ai, and then the word for need of is besoin, besoin de. J'ai besoin de. On a besoin de. Tu as besoin de. Vous avez besoin de. And then you would say obviously the thing that you need afterwards. Okay, so avoir besoin de, another really useful verb, really useful use of the verb avoir. And the last one that we're going to look at today, but there's lots more, but it's how useful avoir can be to help you talk in the past tense. Because to be able to say that you did something yesterday, this morning, last week, you have to start off with either avoir or être. That's another story for another video. But generally, you would use I have eaten, I have seen, I have found, I have bought. So all of these different verbs on here are all verbs that we can put after the I have, we have, you have, and that then turns it into the past tense. So j'ai lu, j'ai vu, I saw, j'ai lu, I read, j'ai trouvé, I found, j'ai acheté, I bought, j'ai mangé, I ate, j'ai visité, I visited, j'ai fini, I finished. You might have heard in restaurants, vous avez fini, vous avez terminé, have you finished, have you finished your meal? J'ai choisi, I chose, vous avez choisi, have you chosen? J'ai vendu, on a vendu la maison, we've sold the house. J'ai perdu mes clés, I've lost my keys. So knowing that avoir will stand you in such a good stead for lots of different reasons. So definitely worth having a little look at and remembering.